Mountain, where we chat about everything around relationships to self source and others. Welcome, welcome, welcome. And we always love to check in with ourselves with the question: what's alive in you today, babe?
I'm glad it's Friday. I'm feeling a sense of relief and openness that there's some free time.
Mm,
And yeah, I always see I get more done when there's less to do. If that's kind of ironic, but that's how my nervous system works. So I'm feeling good. I'm feeling spaciousness. Yes, that's how I'm feeling. How
mm.
about you, Jerry? What's alive in you in this moment?
A lot of gratitude. Um,
Mm,
just in this like place of curiosity and wonder.
hmm
There's a lot of fulfillment, a lot of growth, and meaningful work. And I'm starting to get that. I do like time blocking and filling up my calendar. Though because the work the work that I do is my passion. Like I love it. I find having an empty calendar allows me to play with it. So I totally get where having an empty calendar creates no pressure, where I actually get more work done. I'm more in that play
hmm
state. So starting to get it, man. Starting to feel into that. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
out of the slave culture into the actual productive one, where we start to change
yeah,
paradigms, right?
totally. It's not like I'm not working at all, right? Or consider myself lazy. It's this idea of like if I'm doing meaningful work, like I'm gonna do work anyways because it fills my
Mhm.
cup, fills my life force energy, and I'm doing it from a place of like I don't know, just let's work on this, and this connects here, and this connects here, and it's all coming together. Where I got to be careful of is it getting sucked into the busyness of things, right? Yeah, but when I can be in that space of openness and inspiration, then things actually move quite a bit.
Ooh, I like those 2 words together, openness and inspiration, right?
Hmm.
Whereas work eh, work
Mm,
even has that, it's like, "Oh, I gotta slog it out," or even, I know the word career, it actually comes the root word comes from careening around a racetrack. We're
mm.
all racing, running for stuff, right? And so yeah, that inspiration. The creativity that creates new things. Like we're born being motivated to learn and express and do these things. I don't think we need to force ourselves to
Mm.
to do that and to follow our nervous system. What's living, what's alive, what's meaningful.
Yeah, and it can be so challenging, right? Like I'm so used to creating certainty, or I'm being taught to set goals, and goals are great, having a direction, but I can be so like obsessed with it that I have tunnel vision, right? I'm not flexible. I'm not aware of what's outside of the lens that I'm looking at. And so it's kind of like going back to balance, right? Of like, hey, what are the pieces I need to get done? And maybe I'm procrastinating around it. So I need to time block it to get it done. And the other times where there's work that's more fulfilling. Cause as an entrepreneur, self-employed, I'm wearing so many hats and I'm doing work that I don't relatively like to do, like keeping track of documentation or the numbers and all that stuff, right? Like, but if I'm learning, I'm creating um, courses, programs, learning, teaching, facilitating, and applying the learnings from that for the next time, like that excites me. That gets me going. It doesn't feel like work. So I'm totally naming that in the line of work. There are certain roles and tasks and responsibilities that give me energy and some that don't. And the ones that don't do feel like work.
Oh, well, we're about to pass some of those off to other people so that actually enjoy them.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
because I don't enjoy them, I gotta just will my way through at times, right? I gotta just put on the to-do list and put it into my calendar and get it done. Bite the bullet, eat the frog at the very beginning when I have that energy. And then hey, until it gets delegated to someone where it doesn't feel like work, right? And then imagine we're working in a team where we're all in our zones of genius. Imagine how much we actually do get done.
Right, exactly. And so Yeah, zones of genius where the
Mhm.
body feels alive and integrated and motivated, right? How do we move into those spaces, what I would call your right livelihood? I
Mm.
love Sintar is her name. She wrote the book, Do What You Love and the Money Will Follow, stepping into your right livelihood. Appreciate her book. Everything about who we are, our authenticity, what I might call our soul's purpose, our inspiration. There's a reason why we're here. We all have different ones. Just like one of my students, she's like, "Oh, I love making spreadsheets for payments." And you could just see her come alive. And I'm like, wow, okay, great.
Mhm.
So excited to have you on board to be able to do that stuff and that you love that and you're engaged. And so love the idea of creating communities, families. Um, I don't like the word busyness, but colleagues and groups that work together as a community towards a near end where we're all, instead of working and forcing, how do we step into our zones of genius? It's a great
Mm.
question. And I think originally we planned to talk about day, the soma, the body. How do we know what our zone of genius is? Well, our
Mm.
life serving energy starts to go, oh, I'm alive here.
Yeah, and that starts to make sense with my human design. And I got to read it a few times, and you're being a pure generator, and just looking at my human map, my sacral, right? Like my gut is the decision maker of like what I'm going to put my time and energy into. And when I don't listen to it, right?
Mhm.
The theme I run in my life is frustration. Like I keep banging my head against the door, right? Trying to figure out or do the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. But then listening to my sacral, Hartwell gave me this analogy of like if I come across a task, and it's actually for me to be invited into it, not to like try to control or force things to happen, but just to pay attention to these invitations of work, of tasks that appear. And if I light up, like my body lights up, right? He was sharing this with me, and I was trying to figure out intellectually, then that's a heck yeah, right? If it's not a heck yeah, then it's a no. If it's a maybe, it's a no, right? And I'm starting to tune into that of like what brings me life force energy, right? And then responding to that, right? And that bring myself back to connecting my mind into my body and having them work together to gather more of a fuller picture of like what's happening for me, what's in alignment with my truth or not.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And what's in alignment with our truth, our life serving energy? What makes us feel happy, well, alive? Goes back to, I know Marshall Rosenberg calls them our needs. He says needs are words that describe our life serving energy that motivates and sustains us. And so, how do we go from that somatic experience? When we were little and alive, we like, oh, I love this thing. I love, some kids love digging in the dirt and they love watching bugs, and other kids love to cut crafts and paint and do different things. Some people like to tinker with technology or whatever it is. How do we translate that feeling of aliveness into words? We haven't been taught that. We haven't been taught how to explain to others what makes us feel alive in a
Mm,
way that is reciprocal and life-giving to each other. And that's where,
mm,
as we've worked with, well, we've taken nonviolent communication and the saboteur assessment, positive intelligence, and merged them together so that we can translate what's alive to other people and create teams and opportunities to actually have a right livelihood where we can trust people to follow their own path. Um, it's coming out of, as we have more and more technology, and people are always saying, oh, everyone's taking everyone's jobs. Do we really want jobs? Maybe not everyone's able to step into a complete right livelihood, but they can step into positions and jobs in bigger places that they enjoy. I do
mm,
believe that. We don't have to be slogging it out like slaves. We do not have to be doing that. Um, because as we do that, and I've seen it in a lot of people, right? People retire, which means to go to sleep again. So many people, once they leave their jobs, they're exhausted. They don't know what else to do. It's, really have a longing to
Mhm.
have people have more of a space after they're done work, that they move into a natural space of eldership or um, purpose their whole lives.
Yeah. I also recognize the circumstances I do find myself in where I need to survive or I got mouths to feed, right? And I don't have the luxury to pursue my passion per se. Like I just gotta do what I gotta do in this moment. And so what I'll say to that is start to build the awareness of like what I don't like leads me to what I do like, gathering that inventory. Also building the somatic awareness of what causes me constriction, what opens me up. And then tying that to my mind of like, okay, how do I go start building what my needs are met? What are the strategies? So we talk about there's two types of communication, right? The top down is the verbal communication, the conscious communication. So let's say I'm in saboteur mode, and this is even with a partner, right? Are we, co-creating together? My saboteurs are running amok, right? There's feelings and needs associated with my saboteurs, the parts of me that are in survival. What are their needs? Okay. Once I get in tune with those needs, I can come up with strategies, solutions to meet those needs, maybe in better ways that come at less cost. For example, like if I smoke cigarettes to feel relaxed and peaceful, but I know that wait a minute, my health is impacted. The health of the people I'm around I'm smoking is impacted. If I really sit with that, is health also an important need of mine? Okay, so how do I get relaxation, peace, ease, and health with a different strategy than just smoking? Right. So I can just sit and play with that. And then tuning into the somatic intelligence and start to feel right alongside that. So noticing the signatures of like what my heart is saying, what is my gut saying, what is my balls saying, right? With this, there's other places of knowing and trusting of like, okay, when I'm starting to feel, I'm starting to notice the different signatures of like what anger is or what irritation is or what annoyances is, right? I'm able to discern the different textures of emotions, which is pretty cool. And that leads me to my own needs, right? Like knowing that there's my saboteurs, feelings and needs, which come from my mind, right? In survival, meeting those needs with my somatic intelligence, or what is at the core of mine, and putting that together. So I find just by having that information and data, I can start to build a bridge, knowing that wherever I'm at is a stepping stone. And when I have that clarity, I can start consciously or unconsciously building that bridge to where I want to go, where I want to be into that right livelihood. But that starts with having clarity on what my needs are, right? What brings life force to me and what doesn't. So,
I mean, yeah, it is a stepping stone. Our culture is, like you said, some of us are in survival mode. We've been left that way. And what's interesting to me, there's more than enough wealth in the world to go around, both in the wealth of what's on the planet in land and also what man has created in money. And don't want to go into politics per se, but as we can step into more trust about what's life serving and what's meaningful to us and be in our body and make those choices, the less likelihood we have of burning out, adrenal fatigue, a lot heart
mm,
attacks, illness, all of those things are outside driven motivations and forces outside of ourselves versus checking in with what we do need and making those decisions from our nervous system. So we can
mm,
always start, right, somewhere, initiating into paying attention to that because really so much of us have been slaves. What have we made decisions on? How much money we're going to make? What competition? You know, our school, our sports, everything's based on competition. It's not really about what am I truly drawn to. It's more about am I better than that person and how can I be better this way? There's always something about being better and being on top. And I always say to people who maybe they meet and they go, "I want what you have," or they're jealous or whatever. I'm like, "Oh my God, please don't put me on a pedestal." because pedestals are just as much a jail as any other place. I'm
Mm,
separated from connection from other people, and that's where we feel alone. That's the most tragic place for me to
mm,
be. I don't want to be there.
mm. Yeah. Yeah, slowing down enough, right? We were teaching last night and we're talking about slowing down to listen, to offer, ourselves presence. And this idea of like going fast, right? Going fast to get a lot of things done. Well, actually, in reality, going fast is to go slow. Because if I go fast, right, I'm not aware of the impact I'm causing. I'm not aware that I'm stuck on a hamster wheel, right? I'm not aware of what I'm missing. What balls am I dropping because I'm doing things so quickly? It's all about quantity rather than quality. But what if we think about going slow to go fast, right? Slow, deliberate is like noticing, okay, what's the one thing that moves the needle forward here? What actually pushes me forward? What is more effective, right? Even this idea of like, finding the quickest way out, right? And sometimes that can be used as a shortcut at my detriment, but it's also a survival strategy that helps us really enjoy the benefits of civilization, right? We have comforts of the world because we find easier ways to store food, right? To make food, to produce energy, to live in a warm home during the winter. So, where I'm going with this is just creating that awareness of slowing down enough to get to know yourself. That's a key piece. No matter where you're at, can we slow down enough to start looking into the stories that are running, the paradigms, right? Realizing, wait a minute, I'm working so hard because I want to prove that I'm worthy. Okay, let's just deal with that. Let's just work with that. And then that reveals the inner work that I get to do, my healing and my growth, right? To take that bit further, to unravel myself from that story, right? Not just like, I am worthy, look at myself in the mirror and try to convince myself when in my nervous system, it's wired to just be on the go all the time. And this is just an awareness of like, no judgment. My nervous system is wired to go, go, go all the time. How can I slow down enough? Well, I got to find myself with other people that are slowed down enough. That modeling, that co regulation, because to do it on my own is, are we meant to do things alone? No, 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 no. Meant to do it with others and to have that modeled, even just like giving permission from people to take a break. I remember that. Like, permission, just, hey Dre, it's okay, you can take a break or take time off. Like, I'm waiting for that permission. So in a way, we're social beings waiting for others, looking to others to get that permission, because there is that shame and self-judgment that's involved, right? To be able to then come back to self, like you're saying, everything I'm orienting myself around is based on the external environment, right? External approval, what I see, what I have. And now we're asking you to localize it back to yourself. Bring it back inside. Yeah. So I'm
Yeah,
curious,
I
what landed
love.
for you there?
Well, it's bringing me back to that whole John Wolfstone
Ah,
writing,
yeah.
right? That's so beautiful that you read. Um, and people talking about, okay, heal and healing in isolation, whereas, and I wanted to find it here because it is so telling that when we heal, it doesn't end with the self. We have to work it all the way through, which is really about culture building, because yeah, we're in this culture where we're slave driving and we're going and we believe we have to work to be worthy and all of these things. How did we create this culture? And how do we heal the wounds? We need to create the culture that can actually heal the wounds, because as he
Mm,
says, going and healing yourself and then putting yourself into the culture
the river.
is like pulling yourself out of a raging river and then throwing yourself back right back in.
Yeah.
It's like people who do ayahuasca and have this wonderful session, and then they don't know how to integrate it and go back to the mundane everyday life. There's such a disconnection and a distortion. Um, we can't do it in isolation because we've created this mess together. Just like any relationship, there's always two sides to every story. Um, and when we're only looking at our nearsightedness, we're blind to what's really going on. And having the mirrors of others in
Mm.
culture that are prepared to be vulnerable to speak to what's alive in their nervous system versus all these stories that we have out there about what we should be doing and how we manipulate situations to get what we think we want, which is, I don't know, the money, the sex, sex. There you go. There's a Freudian slip, right?
Yeah.
Success and everything else that's going on.
Mm.
Um, it's a different orientation. It really is a big paradigm shift that's
Yeah.
happening.
Totally.
Yeah.
It's an identity crisis, or it's an ego death. Like it feels like I'm dying, and I'm so used to doing a certain way to make it through life. That's my way. That's certainty. It's actually safe because it's familiar.
Mm,
And so
right.
to just switch over the dime, I'm not asking of that, right? Like I think it's really unrealistic to just like, okay, I'm gonna quit and I'm just gonna pursue my passions. I mean, people do, and they've been successful. Though it's what I'm inviting in is this slow drip, this steeping. And first, what it calls is like, it doesn't matter how much I read or learn. It's not the knowledge, it's the transference of belief that I see other people living this way as well. So how do I find myself in environments where even the simple environment of just slowing down enough to breathe, to be able to tune into what I'm feeling and needing, to express that without fear of judgment. That is powerful because that starts building the muscle of me trusting myself and knowing what's going on within myself. And the more I trust myself, the more I can stand in my truth and speak for it. The more I know what I want and the more I want to go for it because I know that feels a lot better than what I'm currently doing. And it's not the quit and just switch right away, it's a slow drip, right? We're allowing the conscious and subconscious and unconscious to work with that because the focus is different, the awareness is there, and then we start looking at different opportunities to feed into what we want.
Hmm, that's true, and some
I'm an
people do go,
optimistic.
well, no, I totally agree with you, and some people do go cold turkey
Mm.
from whatever they're addicted to, the busyness, the whatever. Some people just go, "I'm done, I'm quitting."
Yeah, yeah, definitely that happens for sure.
Yeah.
And I like to invite in that like kind of one step at a time, baby step. That's why I feel like it's sustainable for me, you know. And all I need to do is steep myself in an environment where that is possible. Like if I was in a country that promoted, 3-day work weeks, right? And siestas in the afternoon, I wouldn't feel guilty of taking time off on those days
No.
because everybody else is doing it. I just got to matter that and acknowledge that I want to belong. I do care what people think because I want to belong to the human tribe. There's a part of me that still does that for survival to look to other people. So if we could be around more people that are doing this lifestyle, then it gives me permission to do it as well.
Yeah. What about the
You know?
practical parts? People are
Mm,
like, "Well, you do need money. You do need in this culture, in
for
this
sure.
thing, in this
Still
material
work.
world, you need money."
Do work. Not telling you to quit your job, right? It just there's got to be some time to cultivate for yourself. You got to create space and time for yourself to prioritize for that. And if your calendar's so full, prioritizing other people, then that's got to change. And we're not talking about flipping the script entirely, but creating some space and saying no and just, okay, maybe I can have 5 minutes to myself, 10 minutes, and that grows over time. Right. So it's like a self-care routine. And at times I got to convince myself that I got to sharpen the axe so I can chop more trees down than just not knowing that if I do rest, I'm actually more productive. Right. So whatever helps people, right? Everybody's different. Everybody has different things and different strategies that could work. You just start creating space to tune into yourself and let's work from there. But if you don't have space to tune into yourself, then it's going to be the same old. Just start there and then see what happens. And that's why I'm an optimist is when people start trusting themselves and building the inner authority, tuning into your inner technology, it will come. It will reveal the next step. The next step will reveal itself. And there's a part of me that's like, man, Dre, you got to give them the magic pill, the shortcut. People want the solution right now. Just take 3 steps and you'll get there. Well, there isn't. It's the ongoingness
No.
of the journey.
Yeah, it's the layers of what we're tuned into or not tuned into. How
It's
much
non-linear, right? When someone tunes in, certain layer will appear. I can take a guess what layer might be, but that's from my own experience, right? Or what I judged it is. But whatever layer appears when people start tuning into themselves is kind of like, okay, those magical doorways, you go into like, okay, door number
Mhm.
one, door number two, door number three, right? Like you just pick and you go in and you're like, figure out afterwards.
Yeah, you're stepping into the world of, a lot of healing modalities are very scripted. They're very
Mm,
protocol. They're
yeah.
modalities that say, "Hey, here's the path I took, so this is the path you should take," or "This is what I think is functional." And I think it's taken us so far.
Mm,
Now we're moving into a new paradigm. I love that. The magic and miracles one, where things spontaneously shift because you open up the doors that are calling you to be opened rather than what other people are telling me to do.
mm,
We're following that life-serving energy that, "Oh my god, this is a yes in my body, and I'm gonna follow because it is a yes, and I'm just gonna trust it." And as we keep doing that more and more, how the opportunities and doorways and layers get uncovered of just how brilliant our mind and our body is really.
yeah. And I'd say like throw the structure out, right? Like for me, I learned that hey, I do need structure. I do need the mechanics, like a sales script, for example, right? Like I don't know where to start. Give me the script. I use the script, right? It's very mechanical, right? It's forced until I make it my own. And I start being in tune to the art behind the science,
Mhm,
right?
mhm,
And so this the structure is just there as a safety net, the boundaries of a sandbox where I get to play. I'm playing the sandbox, but there's boundaries to the sandbox to keep the sand in. I want to share this thing that Alan Watts shared about the merging and the gifts of the structure and the flow.
mm,
So Alan Watts talked about how a child will dance to music, right? They're just like just doing whatever, right? It's cool, right? The parents see this and send the child to dance school. So now the child is in a regimented program, right? Learning the techniques, the science behind it. The child spends years learning how to dance correctly. Eventually, they become a professional dancer. They dance again the way they did as a toddler. Only this time, it isn't called cute, it's called a masterpiece. Learn the rules, master them, then return to play carrying everything you've learned. Return to play carrying everything you learned.
mm, mhm.
Yeah. So that struck me as well. Like for my rational mind of like let's learning music, right? The notes, right? The musical notes, right? Music theory, for example. Some people they could just play, it flows through. Well, for me, I like to have like the music theory and then now bring my creative spirit based on the kind of backdrop of the music theory. I guess it's because my mind wants ease. It's probably because I've over indexed on my mind and my mind is skeptical and wants to know why. And so I'm going to give it the data information so that I could be, ah, right? Start trusting.
Mm, mhm. That might be a more masculine approach, and I'll play devil's advocate here, is that because I've had clients who played music, right? And then they went to school and there's, all sorts of, I forget what it's called, but perfection of the music theory. And then
Mm,
when they try to go play again, they can't
mm,
because it's been so ingrained that they have to do it a certain way that now they can't even step out of the bounds of the
mm,
box that they've been put in.
yeah.
They can't think outside of it.
Mm,
Um, and so, yeah, there absolutely has to be some form of structure. And I think by tapping into the body already has structure. Feelings have structure. Energy has structure. The universe has structure. It's
mm.
not, unless you believe in the Big Bang, it's just a
It's not
random
totally random, right?
occurrence, right? So, what I've observed is I tap into myself and I trust what's happening within me without the judgment. It has a structure. It's following the energy trail. It's like Einstein says, what he discovered, maybe the biggest structure I orient myself around is energy can't be created or destroyed, only transformed, and it's always doing that. So if
Mm,
we try to imply a structure, which is, well, I have to do something. I have to do something with my feelings. I have to do cognitive behavioral therapy, which works for some people, but for me, it does not. Um, I start to feel ill.
mm.
And so I think we can know what kind of structure it is that we need based on our body's responses. And there are more masculine nervous system, more feminine nervous systems.
Mm.
You know, in some men's work, which I went to one of the men's retreats, they were very rah, rah, let's go. And I was like, wow,
That's how Summer interpreted it.
yeah, that's how it felt in my
Yeah,
nervous system. I was
yeah.
like, wow, I have to go
For
breathe
me, it's
out of
like
water.
this, this. Okay.
Yeah, right? So it's, at different times, and I think when people are grieving, they need a
Mm,
softer landing, they need the more fluidness, and when people need to go or they need to push through something, then the more military masculine ways of doing things can be supportive. Um, but again, I think the type of structure that needs to be put in place has to be checked in with the nervous system first. Is
mm,
it life-giving to me,
mm,
this structure, or is it not?
mm,
It always has to go back to the nervous system and what's life-giving or not. It's not a
mm.
one stamp fits all at any given time or any, occurrence in life.
Yeah, here, which creates a question for me too, is like if I listen to my nervous system way and what my nervous system wants, what if the nervous system is impacted by trauma or past experiences that cause me to, let's say, a poor flow. Like I have trauma around like being flowy. You never get any shit done. Like I just see my parents be in the state and they're always trying to struggle, trying to make money. So I gotta figure this out myself. So I gotta have structure, and that feels good in my system. That makes me feel safe. Or it could be the opposite, right? Oh my god, I see so much structure. My parents are burnt out. They're never at home. They're working all the time. I don't want this. I want to be free. I don't want to work a 30-year job and a corporate career, right? So what do you say to like nervous systems that have been embedded and programmed based on past experiences that may not serve or benefit me now?
Well, it's not truly the nervous system that you're talking about, is what I would say. It's the story about what impacted us at the time, the energetic stamp, the impression. And so what we see is this pendulum swing, right? If someone's doing something so much the other, they go the other way. But there's not actual balance or an attunement. We're reacting to something that's been in our environment and we're doing the exact opposite. But does that really? It's because, oh my God, felt so much pain or terror in that moment. I'm going to do the exact opposite. That's a rational mind thing versus, wait a minute. Because if we apply structure and eventually we do the job and we keep going and we burn out, then we get the opportunity to check in what's really authentic with us. And so whenever there's a charge and we're saying, I don't like that and I don't like what someone else does, so I'm going to do the opposite, that isn't about the nervous system. That's really
Mm,
protective parts, judgments, stories that are coming up to protect us, which do a good enough job. But if we
but then,
check into it, eventually, something happens. There's always something guiding us to that place, to our life-serving energy. Sometimes we have to burn out first to go, okay, what is it that I'm doing wrong here? What story have I created in my head that isn't actually life-giving that I thought was?
yeah, well, I disagree that it is the nervous system, that the nervous system is involved. Because when I'm, let's say, dysregulated by either, let's say, an original wound or a story I tell myself, my body still reacts through constriction. I still breathe shallow. Right? I still, either fight, flight, freeze. So my nervous system is still embedded with that code. I notice it in myself that I might be resistance to flow or structure, and my body's responding accordingly to it, like a, "Ugh," right? And that could be from a past story or experience. So I guess where I'm coming from is like, what is my core being, right? And if
Mhm.
if if I'm trying to tune to that, but there's gunk, like I haven't showered and there's dirt, then there's some work for me to clean that up, right? Because if I procrastinate, it's not because like I'm lazy. It could be I'm protecting myself. I'm trying to keep myself safe, right? There's a payoff with me just avoiding this particular thing, and my body feels okay. Okay, it's going to be calm if I just don't look at this, right? Maybe I dress it and I get sweaty. I don't want to deal with it, right? So in a way, the nervous system is involved in influencing my behavior. And so this is a realization for me. Okay, what am I avoiding? What's the story around this? So that I could start cleaning myself, deal with the somatic imprints, right? And let that energy move out of my system so that maybe when I start getting attunement and doing my inner work, I have more of a clearer, cleaner nervous system that's more in response to my higher self and my truth.
Yeah, I get what you're saying, and as we teach, and there is that authentic nervous system, which is wired to take impact and then let the energy run through. So it's at a state of neutrality to take on life. When we experience trauma, something hasn't had the opportunity to complete its movement. Whatever impact hasn't been addressed, hasn't been acknowledged or integrated. When people are in a state of flight or flight, panic, anxiety, I notice it's less about it is the nervous system,
Mm.
but it's the nervous system responding to this, which is usually, for example, my heart starts racing and I go, oh my God, maybe I'm dying. I have to go do something. There's something wrong with me. There's a lot of negative thoughts that are produced that are usually repetitive patterns from our imprints from children or ancestral patterns. If we're able to interrupt the story and the judgment, the energy moves itself.
Mhm.
It's really that simple. And so the nervous system is wired to complete its movement. And, there's extreme stressful situations, there's PTSD, there's CPTSD. People have labels for them, which just means the nervous system has been under so much stress and it hasn't had time to complete its movement. And it's repeating loops and being crazy all over the place. But as people get out of the mind and what they think it is, the nervous system completes itself and brings it
Yeah.
back to neutral.
Yeah.
The only thing
Activate, discharge, relax. Activate,
exactly.
discharge,
Discharge,
relax.
relax. So when you're activated, what stops it from discharging? Judgment. Oh my God, this is
Mhm.
wrong. I need to do something about it. I need to take a pill. I need to blame this other person. I need to get retribution. Whatever the stories are,
Mm.
the panic. I don't like this feeling in my body, so I'm going to try to escape it. As soon as we can do it first, we have body doubles, other nervous systems, what we call the magnetic safe haven, that space for it to discharge itself, it goes back. It's
Yeah.
wired to do that. It's wired.
Yeah.
It's
That's
natural.
that's where, like, I wanted this to head is this judgment that blocks that energetic movement to happen, right? Because all the coaching, all the learning is just up here, right? It's
Yeah.
just discounting this, and no wonder I'm stuck. No wonder I go to a retreat and I kind of bounce back. Like, how come I'm still in the same place? Because I'm still being run by my nervous system, by the energy that's stuck in my body, which is being fueled by the stories. And you were saying the nervous system knows how to release itself, move that energy, right?
Yes. It's
Yeah.
a
Activate.
high intelligence. It's much more
Yeah.
intelligent than this. This is too slow. This is meant for us to go to the grocery store with and check off
Yeah.
lists and to do what the nervous system tells you to do, not the other way around. We've been functioning the other way around. We're trying to drink coffee and
Will.
force and willpower our way into things. We're not
Mhm.
robots. They've tried to make us into we are not, and we will never be such
Hey
things.
man,
That's
go
one
ahead
of
and make
why.
robots. You're making robots right now
Well, they are
already. So
now. It's
that's keep it
great.
separate from being human, right? Leave the human
Great. This
beings
is better.
alone. But yeah, like, it's just really getting out of my own way, right? So there's another layer here is the invitation to go into your body, because that's what's causing you to get stuck, is not dealing with the energy that's been stuck there. The energy doesn't disappear or go away. It's
Yeah.
lodged somewhere, and over time it turns into disease, right? And when we talk about like a regulated nervous system, it doesn't mean that you're calm all the time. Life shit happens, right? Stress happens. It's normal. Life can be overwhelming. Life is stressful. Life is everything, all of it, the joy, the grief, the sadness, the pain, the 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 love, right? The connection, like all of it. And what I'm trying to say is a regulated nervous system is one that can move between activation and relaxation without getting stuck.
Yes.
Hey, right? If the nervous system is stuck based on experience and I use the story to entrap it, that's what's going to cause me to be stuck mentally, emotionally, spiritually, physically, on all levels. And yeah, you can use your head. You can analyze your way out of it. Try to will yourself out of it. It takes a lot of energy, right?
And it doesn't work.
Works up
Might
to a
work
certain point. It works up
short
to a certain point.
time. Very short time results. Eventually, we'll be heading back until that nervous system is respected and giving the it's divine intelligence, the respect
Yeah,
and the that it deserves.
totally. So let's say there's a scenario, right, where I'm being asked to like work later, right? And I'm, let's say, tuning into my body. But then there's a story of like, hey, if I don't work late, I'm going to get fired or my boss is not going to like me. So I ignore that feeling of I need rest. So I lodge it away, get stuck. I will my way through it. Okay. Over time, I do that. What's going to start to happen? Adrenal fatigue, right? Burned out, right? Then I'm kind of like inner conflict with myself. But let's say if I tune into what I need in that moment, and maybe in that moment, I need rest, right? This is going back to like learning what serves my nervous system or not, then I'm actually completing the movement because there's an activation of like, oh, I'm being asked to stay back here. But what do I really need? Tuning into my feelings and needs. Oh, I need rest. Okay, let's get rest and let's move that energy through. What do you think about that?
I mean, yeah, at one point or another, we have to return to what's innate rather than trying to make it into something that it's not. There's an innateness, a life-serving energy, creator, God force, life force. We can all try to guess how it got to be here, but the proof is in the pudding when we tap into the body, when we're driven by the nervous system rather than what we think it should be, we're much healthier.
Mm,
We have much
yeah,
more life energy. We're able to get things done. We feel inspired. And yeah, I mean, that's just the truth of it.
yeah. So kind of
Good.
like without the mental judgment that's placed on what's my body telling me. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's based on culture. The mental judgments, the labels, the diagnoses, it's all a cultural manifestation of what we think based on our psychocultural advancement or not of what we think things are. And it's also based in fear. What's that book they have
Mm.
everybody read where there's boys on an island?
Yeah. It's coming to me, man. It's oh yeah, he killed the pig at the end, and
Yes, yes, that.
yeah,
Right. Anyways, the point is that we're evolving.
yeah. Let me pull it up here because it's definitely Lord of the Flies.
Yes, that. There it is.
Lord of the
Yeah.
Flies. Look at that. Well, I yeah, I'm actually surprised I saw that movie, but yeah, it was definitely impactful for me.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That's
Mm,
the epitome of what we're living right now. Sometimes we watch movies or we see things and we don't realize that's what we're actually living. Um, and again, it goes back to that slowing it down and also
mm,
being in a community with people that also slow down so that you can see your mirror of yourself and others rather than everybody doing what they're expected to be doing and living the stories in the rat race. And as people slow down, you go, oh, well, this feels better.
mm,
And there's different kinds of success and money and all those other things that come.
mm,
Because even the Bible says, um, wherever your heart is, your treasure is also.
mm.
It's a literal statement. Do what you love and the money will follow. It's a literal statement.
Mm,
It does take some persistence. So you're either going to lose your life serving, you go for money first, you lose your life serving energy, you end up depleted, depressed, whatever, retired, which means to go to sleep again permanently, versus maybe you have less money at first. You're putting money, you're investing into something else, as our culture kind of dictates. But as you honor yourself and your nervous system and your motivations, oh my God, it's so life giving. It's energizing, it's inspiring, it's meaningful. And when you're living like that, people are drawn to it.
mm,
Build it and they will come. That's what that means. I'm building it. And the energy is building, the inspiration is building, the knowledge is building. It's building
mm.
and building.
Yeah. So that's our pitch, you know? Our pitch is like, yeah, presence and slowing down and tuning into your heart's knowing, right? There's intelligence there. There's intelligence in your gut. Slowing it down enough to just, yeah,
Listen,
tune in,
here.
listen. Yeah.
And then use this to be able to bring action,
Yeah.
inspired action.
Yes. Agreed. Yeah. I'm also like disappointed that the chat here in the restream doesn't work. So
At
I'm not sure if
all?
any.
I know there's no
Yeah.
things. I don't know. I'm not really looking at Facebook or
And
anywhere to see
it brings me so
maybe
much life
there's.
force to be able to see some chats, right? Some comments to be with. Yeah.
Yeah, missing humans here. Let's just see here. Yeah, there's not really which one's yours here? Oh,
Yeah,
that's in
let's
the
do a quick
Facebook group.
check to see if there is any comments because I want to make sure I acknowledge it. I just want to, and I can spark some ideas too for me. Yeah, you know. Yeah,
Friday, beautiful day outside. Who wants to be on computer?
yeah, right. It's
Yeah.
cooking right now.
Yeah, it's
Apparently, it's going to
amazing how
be
one of us.
a lot of rain in the next few days.
Oh,
Yeah,
dang.
bummer. But anyways, I feel pretty complete about that. How about you?
Yeah. Yes, I do.
Okay, cool.
I'm good. We get to go outside now too.
Yay. Yeah,
Feed my nervous system.
that's
Put my feet on the ground. Yay.
exactly.
Yes.
So that's what we're going to invite you into is the slow down, the pause, the breathe, the presence. Start tuning into what your heart says, your gut says, and just gather more data. Just gather more data. And having, I always say, like, I'm just collecting more data, so that the whole system is working together instead of just one part of it. Right. So check out our website. We do this work of tuning into ourselves, getting connected to self, source, and others, and speaking our truth from that place. When we see it more time and time again, right, Summer? Like, the more I can speak my truth and be attuned to that, the more I'm kind to other people because they know how to
Yeah.
meet me, right? And I know how to meet them when they know their truth versus us people pleasing and then feeling resentful and getting stuck in loops and patterns of like, shit, this is not serving us at all. So check out our website. That's the type of work that we do through conscious communication, through internal family systems, through inside out, um, through positive intelligence.
Relational relationalwisdomschool.com.
Yeah, relationalwisdomschool.com. We have women's programs, men's programs, conscious communication programs. If you haven't already joined our Facebook group, this is where we share like related content to it, free monthly workshops, our upcoming offerings. You can check us out at Relational Wisdom. So just type in Facebook, Relational Wisdom, and our YouTube channel where go live every Friday. We also have other past lives as well and short reels of them that are more impactful if you want just a short clip. And you can find us at Relational Wisdom School on YouTube. So Relational Wisdom School on YouTube. Until next Friday, enjoy, be well, take care.